Something strange is happening in Cleveland. Week after week, fans are left with more questions than answers as the offense continues to stall, decisions get more confusing, and key voices in the organization fall silent. What's really going on behind the scenes? Why does it feel like the team is avoiding the obvious? Let's break it all down. Click the like button and come with me to stay well informed. The Cleveland Browns are heading into Week 10 of the NFL season, and the quarterback situation is starting to boil over in a way we haven't seen in years. The offense is struggling, fans are frustrated, and all eyes are now on head coach Kevin Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry, who are avoiding the biggest question on everyone's mind. Why is SHEDEUR Sanders still not getting a chance? It's no longer just speculation from fans. This conversation has moved front and center in the Cleveland media. Reporters are pressing Stefanski directly. Why not just see what SHEDEUR can do with the offense? The answer? Stefanski gave the coldest shoulder possible. My focus is where we are right now. And Mary Kay Cabot, the veteran Browns beat reporter, didn't get much more than that. The question was dodged, plain and simple. Meanwhile, SHEDEUR Sanders appears to be making his own subtle statements. Cleveland Browns insider Brad Stainbrook shared a screenshot on Twitter showing that Sanders had liked a post calling for him to start over Dillon Gabriel. Though Sanders' name disappeared from the likes later, possibly unliked, it was enough to fuel speculation. SHEDEUR is clearly itching for the opportunity. He's hungry. And he's watching a quarterback in Dillon Gabriel who is putting up numbers that rank among the very worst in the NFL. Let's break this down. Dillon Gabriel's PFF passing grade is an abysmal 47.6, dead last among all starting quarterbacks. His completion percentage is just under 60%, one of the worst in the league. And here's the kicker, his yards per attempt sit at 4.9. That's the lowest of any starter in the NFL. He's not throwing deep, yet he's still inefficient. How is that even possible? When you're throwing short and still can't complete passes consistently, that's a red flag that cannot be ignored. Gabriel also ranks near the bottom in turnover-worthy plays and is last in average completed air yards, just 3.2. The big throws are non-existent, and even when the offense tries to stay conservative, it still finds ways to falter. There's no explosiveness, no rhythm, and no improvement in sight. And for those wondering how this compares to the Joe Flacco experiment, this might be even worse than the Flacco days, and that's saying something. There's growing speculation that Gabriel's presence as the starter isn't just about performance. An ESPN report highlighted the deep ties between Dillon Gabriel's former coaches and the CAA agency, the same agency that represents Stefanski and Andrew Berry. That same agency, CAA, represents several former coaches of Gabriel, Dan Lanning, Britt Venables, and Florida State's Gus Malzahn. The Browns front office and coaching staff may be more loyal to agency ties than performance. Could that be the reason Gabriel was taken in the third round ahead of Sanders, who was ranked higher on nearly every draft board? No one had Gabriel ahead of SHEDEUR. Yet, here we are. Let's not forget the depth chart chaos either. From the beginning, Sanders was QB4, behind Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dillon Gabriel. Even when Flacco was benched, Sanders only moved up to QB3. He has yet to take first-team reps. There is no clearer sign that the coaching staff is not seriously preparing him to start. The most outrageous part? Even when Sanders was listed as the official backup in a blowout loss to the Dolphins, he wasn't inserted into the game. That's right. The Browns were down 31-6, and Sanders stayed on the bench. Then came the mysterious back injury. Suddenly, Sanders was inactive due to stiffness. Stefanski was asked directly how it happened. His answer? I'm not sure. Nothing specific. He just came in stiff. That's it. No play, no incident, no diagnosis. Just stiff. So let's recap. They won't give him first-team reps, they won't let him play in blowouts, and now, when Gabriel is performing historically poorly, they sideline SHEDEUR with a vague back issue. It gets worse. For the first time in his 6 years as GM, Andrew Berry declined to speak to the media during the bye week. That has never happened before. Why now? Why duck questions now, when the quarterback controversy is heating up and fans are demanding answers? There are too many questions and not enough transparency. And speaking of front office decisions, why didn't the Browns draft an offensive lineman in 2025? They had 4 starters on contract years. They knew it was a looming issue. And now, with injuries like the one to DeJuan Jones, the offensive line is crumbling. Tackles are a huge concern, but instead of shoring up protection or giving the offense any real boost, the front office opted to invest in a quarterback they can't seem to justify anymore. This team is making decisions that defy logic, and the silence from leadership is only making it worse. So now we're all looking at the calendar. After the bye week, it's the Jets in Week 10. If Gabriel struggles in that game too, what excuse could possibly remain to not give SHEDEUR a shot? At some point, the performance has to matter more than loyalty, politics, or agency connections. So Browns fans, what do you think? Is it finally time to bench Dillon Gabriel and see what SHEDEUR Sanders can do under center? Let me know your thoughts below. And here's where it really starts to cross the line from frustration into absurdity. Week after week, Dillon Gabriel's performances are not just subpar, they're actively hurting the offense. We're talking about a unit that is now statistically among the worst in the league, with a quarterback who is dead last in key categories like average air yards, efficiency, and explosive plays. And yet, despite all this, the coaching staff is still doubling down. Kevin Stefanski has already confirmed Gabriel remains the starter after the bye. You can't help but feel like we're being gaslit. Every game, Browns fans sit through this sluggish, ineffective offense, wondering how much worse it has to get before something changes. And then, when the only viable alternative, SHEDEUR Sanders, finally gets a shot to be QB2 in a blowout against the Dolphins, he's still not put in. That's not a strategic decision. That's just stubbornness. The mystery surrounding his so-called back injury only adds more fuel to the fire. Sanders was seen warming up. He looked fine. Then, without warning or explanation, he's declared inactive with back stiffness. Not even an injury, just stiffness. And when asked how it happened, Stefanski's response was, "I don't know." Really? Your young quarterback suddenly can't play, and you have no clue why? It's no stretch to say this looks orchestrated. If Sanders isn't active, the fans can't demand he go in. If he's on the sideline, the chants grow louder. Stefanski is shielding himself from the pressure. But here's the thing, fans aren't blind. We're watching this unfold. We know the offense is broken, and we know the coaching staff is avoiding the one move that could inject life into this team. There's no guarantee that SHEDEUR Sanders is the answer. But at this point, the answer we're sticking with is clearly wrong. And even if Sanders isn't the long-term guy, how can we know if he never even touches the field? Browns fans, we're in the middle of a season that's slipping away fast. We've seen enough of Dillon Gabriel. We're tired of the excuses. So now I'm asking you again, do you think it's finally time to see what SHEDEUR can do? Should he start after the bye if Gabriel flops again? Drop your answer below and let's talk about it. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click the video that's up on your screen right now. If you want breaking Browns updates, quarterback news, and all the SHEDEUR Sanders coverage before anyone else, this is the place. Go Browns!